All right, welcome to another edition of the Current Era podcast. I'm your host, Julian, and today I do have another Harry Potter special with my mother, who is probably the biggest Harry Potter fan that I know. It was such a great conversation with my mom. She loves Harry Potter. I love Harry Potter. We both have read every single book multiple times. We've seen all the movies. So, in this podcast in particular, guys, we're going to be talking about The Order of the Phoenix, The Half-Blood Prince, and The Deathly Hallows. So, in the first Harry Potter special we did, we talked about books 2, 3, and 4. And in this one, we're going to talk about books 5, 6, and 7. This conversation was so much fun. Like, we got in depth on each one of the books, talk about our favorite moments, some of the most important plot points, some of the key differences between the books and the films. So I think even if you're somebody who has just seen the movies, or if you're somebody who's just read the books, I think you'll enjoy it just because we have such different perspectives on it. And yeah, it's just a really fun conversation, guys. So let's go ahead and get to the episode. This is the Harry Potter special part 2, and I hope you really enjoy it. Let's do it.
It was foolish of you to come here tonight, Tom. The orders are on their way.
By which time I shall be gone, and you shall be dead.
Well, we're recording now. Okay. Mommy, hello. You're one of the biggest Harry Potter fans I know, so that's why I wanted to have you on this podcast. In particular, because obviously we both love Harry Potter, but this podcast. Well, I'm sorry. Let me start over. So the first podcast we did, we talked about books 2, 3, and 4, and we did another podcast which will never see the light of day, unfortunately. But we talked about book 1 and how you got introduced to it, but. Since the public will never hear that first podcast, I do kind of want to go back just to kind of give them like a kind of introduction to you and how you got introduced to Harry Potter. So can you briefly go over it again? Like, how did you get introduced to the series?
One of the girls at work hipped me to it. She told me about J.K. Rowling and the books, and I went online. I actually went to, there used to be a Borders, not a Borders, but Barnes and Noble in the mall, and I went over there.
No, that was Borders. Talking about in the Art Place Mall?
Yeah,
that was Borders. Yeah, that was Borders.
Barnes and Noble.
No. Are you talking about downstairs in the corner, right next to Finish Line?
Yeah,
that's a Borders. It used to be a Borders, yeah.
And got the book and waited in line to get the book. Actually, for the first 3, actually, read the book. I loved it, and that's how I got hip to it. So when the movie came out, I was all for it. I took you 3 with me. We waited in line and went and see the movie, and it was great.
Yeah.
So that's how I got started.
Yeah, we went to the midnight showings of every one of these Harry Potter movies, and I mean every single one.
Yep.
This is back before, because now you can go Thursday at 6 p.m. As early, but back then, back in the old times, it was midnight.
Right.
And it was always super fun. It'd be on school nights, and you used to maybe go to school the next day, but it's all good. So let's go and get right into it, Mom. So Order of the Phoenix is book 5 in this series. J.K. Rowling pretty much wrote books 1 through 4 back to back to back to back. I think there was like a year in between each one where they got published. And this one took a little while. This one was about 2 or 3 years after the 4th one. She actually admitted to having like writer's block, because she was, I don't know if she was tired of writing them, or she just couldn't kind of figure out like the intro and the ending, because she's always said that she knew how it was going to end, like she knew the main points, but I guess she was having trouble filling in. And this book is the longest book, and it has the most crap in it, in my opinion. But
I think she like you said, she knew how it was going to end, but I think she had so much information, and she was just trying to piece it together. Besides, the first 4 books were so hugely popular.
Right.
I don't think she wanted to disappoint anybody, but she had so many ideas in her head of different ideas of what she wanted to do and possibly do. Just to put them on paper was the hardest part, but she did it, and
Yeah.
book 5 was good. It was good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
the movie was good.
Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, the movie is my favorite movie, which we've discussed. But
It was very action packed, wasn't it?
yeah.
it was.
But I mean, the book was good too. But I think that there were some key differences, you know, from the book to the movie. One of those main differences is that Creature doesn't have like a huge role in the movie, whereas in the book, he's pretty much the reason Sirius dies, because he kind of snitches to Bellatrix, who is his real master or other master, and you know that's how Voldemort knew to send them to what's the place at the end called where the prophecies are.
The Hall of Mysteries.
There you go, the Hall of Mysteries. And yeah, but anyway, what's your overall opinion of this book, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix?
Well, you know, all of the books are going to have more detail in them than the movie.
Than the movies, of course.
So,
of
because
course.
I mean, the books. This, like you said, this was one of the biggest books, so it was, you know, had a lot of material in it that obviously didn't get into the movie.
Right.
But I think, you know, some people would think that the Creature part in the book was more filler.
You think so? Okay.
But I mean, because they obviously didn't have it in the movie.
Yeah.
Nobody really cared that
Creature was the one.
That Creature was the one who ratted out to Bellatrix that, you know, what Harry was doing and where him and Hermione and Ron were. So, you know, I think that was just part filler. It was still entertaining compared to some of the other filler material in the other books.
Right. Like Spew.
Yeah, yeah. That I have. I'm really glad they didn't put that in the book.
I agree.
That was awful.
I agree.
And the whole part about her going to the kitchens and trying to recruit.
Yeah.
You know, that was. And the elves in the kitchen cooking. I mean, everybody who's a Harry Potter fan that's read the book knew that that's where they got their food and how the food magically appeared on the table.
Sure.
But if you didn't read the books and you just say, "Oh, that was great how it magically appeared on the table," and not really known how they did that.
Yeah.
So just different things like that. But no, I like the movie because of the action. There's a lot more action, and when you read it versus seeing it, there's a total difference.
Yeah.
I mean, you're totally glued in.
Absolutely. Yeah.
To the live action, seeing that action. So I think that was good. That was great.
You know, so
and one more thing. Sorry.
Yeah.
You know, just them on those wingback creatures.
Yeah, the Thestrals.
The Thestrals. You couldn't picture that in the book.
Right.
You couldn't visualize that, but actually seeing it, so that was great visualization there. So
yeah, and you know, I think I forgot where I was going, but anyway, so I want to go ahead and get to my favorite part. So, so the Order of the Phoenix has been a lead up, in my opinion, to this big clash between Dumbledore and Voldemort. So I mean, obviously, you know, Voldemort is the biggest bad, and you know, this is Harry's story. Like, don't get me wrong, it's Harry's story, but this was Dumbledore's moment to shine, because we've known all throughout the entire series that Dumbledore is just this badass. Like, he's this god among wizards. Like, you know, he's more feared than Voldemort.
You were ready for the fight.
Yeah, what? Mom. So when I was reading the book, first of all, the title of the chapter is "The Only One He Ever Feared." Like, so I'm just like, give me more, give me more. Like, I'm already just like, you know, yeah. I'm like, let's do this. So I'm reading the chapter, and the dialogue is so entertaining between, you know, Dumbledore and Voldemort, and I'm glad that they kept that in the movie, because, you know, as soon as Dumbledore jumps out of that fire, he's just like, it was foolish of you to come here tonight, Tom. Like, he's calling Voldemort Tom Riddle.
Yeah.
Like,
he's the only one that, him and Harry are the only two that call him by his name.
Yeah.
So
and then,
everybody else is afraid to, as if he's going to magically appear and, you know.
and kill him, yeah.
And kill him.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and it's just so amazing. And then, yeah, being able to see the fight between Dumbledore and Voldemort was just everything to me. It's my favorite scene in the entire series. That's my favorite moment. It's that moment is everything to me. I mean, that is Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader fighting.
Well, let me ask you this: why do you think Voldemort feared Dumbledore?
Because he knew he couldn't do nothing with him.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I mean,
if you think about now, what's happened now in the books the next movie that she's bringing out, you know, he fought what was that?
Grindelwald. Yeah.
And he defeated him.
Even
And
when Grindelwald had the Elder Wand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So even with Grindelwald being defeated, and he was a great wizard in his time.
Right.
So that's what I think. I think that's why Voldemort was afraid of Dumbledore, because he beat Grindelwald, and Grindelwald at the time had the Elder Wand.
Yeah, but nobody knew about the Elder Wand. I mean, and Voldemort didn't at that point either.
Yeah, but I still think that has something to do with it.
I mean, yeah, you're probably right, because like you said, Grindelwald was Voldemort before Voldemort. You know, like
Right.
he was the big bad in that time period, and he essentially had an entire country, at his knees. But I mean, that's a good point. I mean, I just Voldemort.
That's just my thought. I mean,
But
that's
also,
just my thing.
Voldemort and Dumbledore had that teacher-student relationship. So, Voldemort
True.
studied under Dumbledore. Like,
Yeah.
he knew firsthand how awesome Dumbledore was. So that's probably why, again, to me, it's just that Voldemort knew that he couldn't do nothing with Dumbledore. Like, he knew good
he
and
wasn't
well.
afraid of any other teacher, though.
Of course not. I mean, but...
But he was afraid of the teacher. He was
Yeah.
afraid of Dumbledore when he knew Dumbledore defeated a great many wizards in his time. So
Yeah.
he did have that respect
Oh, yeah.
for Dumbledore,
Oh, yeah.
even though he tried him at the end. And
Yeah, he tried. It was a great fight. I mean, it was a great fight. I mean, if Harry wasn't there for Voldemort to use as a shield, I think, and it's hard to say because I don't know if Dumbledore would have killed Voldemort, but I think he would have at least tried to subdue him and arrest him. I mean, I don't know if that would have done any good, but
Julian, I don't even think Dumbledore was trying.
You don't think so?
No.
You think okay? So you think he was just trying to protect Harry?
Yes.
Looking back on it, you might be right.
I don't think Dumbledore was trying to kill. I think he was trying to subdue him and just trying to protect Harry.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he was trying to kill
Yeah.
Voldemort. Voldemort was trying to kill Dumbledore.
Yeah. Well, it's because he was scared. He was like, okay, he's here. I gotta go.
Yeah.
So in the books, but before that, there's a huge battle between the Order of the Phoenix and the Death Eaters, in the Hall of Mysteries.
Yes.
In the Ministry of Magic. That's what I was trying to think. I was like, I couldn't think of the
Yeah.
place in the Ministry of Magic in the Department of Mystery. Sorry. So Lucius Malfoy is leading this mission against Harry and the DA, the Dumbledore's army, and this is where we finally hear this prophecy, where neither can live while the other survives, and something like that. So at that point in the series, what do you think about that prophecy? Like, I mean, because to me, obviously, like this is 5 books in, and we're just now getting this prophecy. I mean, obviously, it was always Harry and Voldemort at the end, and then Harry even says that he was like, I knew that it would have to be us two in the end. But what do you think about the prophecy finally being revealed?
I didn't expect it to be I didn't expect that it neither could survive while the other one could live, but I knew that Harry in the end was going to have to fight Voldemort, but I didn't think he'd have to die in order to do it.
Right.
It's also strange how they, Neville's birthday is in July also.
Yep.
So, but they quickly said no. They knew it wasn't Neville, because Neville even didn't try. He didn't have any of these bad things happen to him.
Well,
so they always knew it was Harry.
Yeah.
But I just thought how it was strange that they threw that in.
Yeah. Well, in the book, they, after everything happened, Harry and Dumbledore were speaking, and Dumbledore, because Harry had those same questions. He was like, Neville's birthday is the same day as mine. Like, the prophecy could have been about him, right? And Dumbledore was like, no, unfortunately it isn't, because Voldemort chose you.
Right.
He did say that both of your parents defied him 3 times, which was in the prophecy. But the prophecy clearly stated that Voldemort will mark you
him
as his equal.
As his equal.
So,
Yep.
Voldemort chose Harry for whatever reason.
Yep.
And
He didn't do it on purpose, though.
No, he didn't. He didn't. He didn't.
He didn't do it on purpose.
Because Snape. But yeah, I mean, so and Dumbledore made sure to make the point of, he didn't choose the pure blood, because he's pure blood mania. Neville is a pure blood. Like, he
Neville
comes
is
from
pure
a
blood.
pure bloodline of wizards.
Right.
He chose the half blood like himself. So yeah, I thought that was really interesting. But I think in that book, do we learn in this book that Harry finds out about Snape was the one that that heard the prophecy, or was that? I think that might have been 6 actually. But
I didn't remember that Snape heard the prophecy. I thought Dumbledore heard the prophecy.
well, I mean, because Professor Trelawney and Dumbledore were having an interview for that post of divination
I didn't know
in the
Snape
Three
was there.
Broomsticks. Yeah, you remember he was listening on the outside of the door, and he was the one that told Voldemort that that Lily Potter. I mean that he was the one that told Voldemort that a boy born at the end of July will be your downfall.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
So that's another reason why Snape hates Harry, because like he thinks. I mean, Harry hates Snape because he thinks that his that Snape got his parents killed on purpose because he always hated his dad, and at that point in time, Snape was like he called his mom a mudblood in a pensive memory that he saw. So yeah, it was interesting stuff. But but obviously we know that wasn't the case.
Right.
But yeah, whatever. So I'm sorry, we kind of went on a little tangent there, but so Imelda Staunton. I wanted to make sure that I get the actor's name, and I hope I didn't butcher the pronunciation. She played the Dolores Umbridge in Order of the Phoenix, and I thought she was absolutely fantastic.
I thought she was fantastic too, even though she was a bad, just a bad person. But
Yeah.
she still played that role. Just
Yeah.
like Bellatrix. Bellatrix played her role too.
Yes, definitely.
But Imelda Staunton definitely played the role of Dolores Umbridge to a T.
Yeah, I
She
thought.
did an outstanding job.
Yes, I thought she was awesome. I mean, even at the end when she was getting pulled away,
Yeah.
and she was just like Harry's like, I must not tell lies. Yeah, it was just great stuff. Like she was just an evil little
Yeah,
thing. And then when she slapped Harry, I was like, But yeah, it was. Yeah, she was really good. And
Yeah.
Sirius. So how'd you feel about Sirius's early demise?
I didn't like it.
No?
I wished he could have stayed. I wish Harry would have had
Somebody.
in his life, a relative that he could enjoy in his life. I would
Yeah.
have liked him see him moving into to Sirius's house and them living together, you
Yeah.
know. But that's wasn't meant to be. But I wish Sirius, because he was in
Azkaban.
prison for so long, and
All of Harry's life.
all of Harry's life, and I just wish they would have had more time together. But
Yeah.
he was a good guy.
Yeah, Sirius was awesome. Like I said this before, but him and Lupin were like my two favorite characters.
Yeah.
I was devastated when I read that he got killed and he went through the little thing and his soul just lifted up. I was
Yeah.
like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean that kind of sparked on the whole conversation that he had with Bellatrix, like when she was running, because she was the one that killed Sirius.
Right.
And she ran and she was taunting him.
I
And,
can't Sirius.
yeah. And that led to Voldemort coming out, and then that whole thing, and you've got to mean it, Potter, to do that, because he was trying to curse
He
her.
was trying to do the
Crucio.
Crucio curse on her, and he, she was scared.
Mm-hmm.
You saw her face. She was scared. She's like, oh my God, he's gonna kill me. And he didn't. Voldemort came out and said, "You have to mean it, Potter."
Yeah.
So
I thought that was a really cool scene in the movie too, like just making him appear out of smoke, and yeah. I mean, I love that movie. Like I said, is just my favorite movie out of them all. There's just so many things about the movie, even the Dumbledore's army part of the movie. I really love that stuff when Harry's talking about how you guys don't know what it's like to watch your friends die and to be a second from death yourself. Like y'all don't know what that's like. Like y'all are here thinking that I'm finna talk about Cedric and teach you a disarming charm. Like I'm trying to teach you to live. It's really great stuff, really great dialogue. Like I said, that I'm glad they kept in the book.
Let's talk about that for a minute, because we haven't talked about that. So I like the whole part about them, because when Umbridge came on the scene, she basically said, "Wands down, no, we're not going to practice magic at all." And everybody was up in arms. What do you mean we're not going to practice? And Harry's like, when Dumbledore comes through the door and you don't know how to defend yourself, basically, So she was in disbelief.
Yeah.
Voldemort.
Yeah.
She just didn't want to believe it. But then, they got together and, decided that, Hermione decided that
right.
Harry should teach people because he's been around so much and so much magic, and he knows what he's doing.
Right.
And compared to the others, because the others didn't know anything. They know a few disarming spells, but nothing no defensive spells.
Yeah.
So Harry was able to teach them, and they found the room of requirement.
Mm-hmm.
And they were able to have their secret classes, and then Umbridge and her team were trying to find them. And
the Inquisitorial Squad. Yeah.
It was funny.
It's funny, like, leading up to that, Harry was like, y'all want me to teach y'all?
Yeah.
Like, me? And then, like, everybody started listing off his accomplishments. Like, first year, he fought Voldemort himself. And second year, he killed the Basilisk. And third year, da-da-da.
Yeah.
And Harry's like, hold on, calm down. All that was just luck. Like, like, I didn't know what I was doing at the time.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it was just great stuff. And then, I think Hermione was the one that said, like, I mean, some of that stuff was situational and luck, sure, but you yourself got you through that. So to me, like, that made Harry more likable. Like, you actually are special, and, like, you can do things. Like, I mean,
When they found out he can do a Patronus, they were like,
yeah.
"You can do a Patronus, Harry?"
Yeah.
So it was great.
Good stuff.
So, yeah.
So what I kind of talk about my favorite moment, but from this book or movie, what was your favorite moment in this one?
I think the funniest thing I would say was when they came in and tried to arrest Dumbledore.
Ah!
He was like,
Yeah. He was like, hold on, y'all tripping.
yeah, he was basically like, I thought it might come to that.
Yeah. Like, you seem to be laboring under the delusion that I'm going to, what's
Go
the phrase?
quietly.
Yeah, come
Yeah.
quietly. Like, yeah, I don't got no intention of going to Azkaban.
That was great. And just seeing him, put
Yeah.
his hands together
Yeah.
like that, and then Fox come and take him out.
Yeah.
And he just disappeared. And
Kingsley.
Kingsley said, you got to admit, man. You got to admit, Minister, Dumbledore's got style.
Yeah. Yeah. That was
great.
That was cool. That was really cool. Yeah, I
That
agree.
was really great. That was great.
Good stuff. Okay, so let's go to book 6. So The Half-Blood Prince was my favorite book by far. I thought that this book just had so much in it as far as information. I thought that each chapter was just so entertaining. As far as lore, it had action, it had, serious moments, and I just really loved The Half-Blood Prince, the book, which is why the movie was such a disappointment to me. I thought the movie sucked.
It didn't have a lot of the information that
made the book great.
Yeah.
My opinion. There was basically no mention of Voldemort's parents, either one of them. And both of his parents had Horcruxes. I mean, but they're also his parents. So why wouldn't they be mentioned? And his uncle and Marvolo Gaunt was his grandfather. Yeah, his grandfather. So I mean, his grandfather had the Resurrection Stone, and he had a Horcrux, the ring, and they just never mentioned it, which I thought was just whatever. But yeah, like I said, the book was just really fantastic. The movie sucks. I hate the movie so much. But what do you remember about this book, Ma?
I agree. I think that they should have delved a little bit deeper into the Horcruxes, and where they came from, meaning his parents. And they never really talked about how, there was only one line in the in the movie, and I think that was in book 4, where Voldemort said he had to get the bones from his mudblood father.
Muggle
father, yeah. So if you hadn't read the books, you would not have known. I don't think you would have known that his mom was a witch and his father was a muggle.
Yeah.
But in the book they explained how, and you probably have to help me with this, where they were at dinner and I forget how he got cursed or whatever, and they found the family still sitting at the table dead. Oh
yeah, he basically he went to Little Hangleton or wherever his human family's from. He killed them all. Like,
yeah.
He just went in and killing cursed them and left them all sitting at the table.
Yeah. It's like, yeah. So, just a lot of things. Tom Riddle was always an evil little child.
Yeah.
And those are the ones you have to watch out for.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Even as a little boy, when Dumbledore met him at that school, at that orphanage, you could tell in his eyes, he was like,
Yeah.
his
He was
eyes
evil.
were dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. I call them dead eyes. When you can look at somebody and there's like no light, no nothing, they're just dead.
Yeah.
Those are ones you have to worry about. So you knew then. That little boy played that role.
Yeah, he was
though.
good. He was good. Yeah.
He was really good. He played that role.
But I think, Mom, that's not necessarily Tom Riddle's fault. I mean, he grew up alone in the world, like everything.
Oh, I know it's not his fault, but you would think, even as a teenager, he had friends and he had followers.
He didn't have friends. He had followers.
He had followers. Yeah. Well, I'm talking about the teachers. What's the one?
Slughorn?
Yeah, Slughorn. Bless you.
Thank you.
Until he asked him about the
Horcruxes.
Horcrux.
Yeah.
And then he was like, you see the cross, crossing his fingers. But no, I think I don't think it was his fault, but they never really delved into his background
In the movie, yeah.
in the movie.
Right. Yeah,
so-
because in the books, I thought they did a fantastic job.
Yeah, they
like
did.
I learned from when he was born, like his mother died giving birth to him on
Mm-hmm.
the doorstep to that orphanage. Like she sold her necklace,
Mm-hmm.
which turned out to be a Horcrux, which was an heirloom to Salazar Slytherin.
Mm-hmm.
You found out that he like rejected Dumbledore's help to get to Hogwarts. Like when Dumbledore visited him at that orphanage, he was like, Voldemort was talking about how, I'm poor, like I don't have any money. I was like, no problem. Like, we have like loans for this, for students like yourself. He's like, I will help you. Like I'll get you to Diagon Alley, and I will help you. And he was like, I don't need your help. Like he said something like, I go to London by myself all the time. He's like 5, or he's like 10 or whatever.
Yeah, he was about 10. Yeah.
And yeah, it's just stuff like that, and how he was basically obsessed with finding out who he was. Like he dug through the catacombs of Hogwarts and all the books trying to find some type of mention of the Riddle name and who he was, and once he didn't find that, he kind of shed that name, cast it aside, and became Lord Voldemort. But they didn't go into any of that,
No,
and
they
to
didn't.
me. That makes Voldemort interesting.
Yeah.
Like it makes me care about him. Like
Well, because it makes him less mysterious, I think,
Yeah.
if you kind of knew his background and who his parents were and how he grew up and, what he was used to doing, how he's always been independent.
right. It makes you feel sorry for him almost. Like, how else is a guy like that supposed to turn out? I mean, sure, some things he could have done differently.
Yeah.
But
There's a lot of things he could have done differently.
But I mean, he didn't have a good start. Basically, is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, whatever. But yeah, so I mean, in this book, there's a ton of dialogue between Harry and Dumbledore, which I love. Like they're finally starting to get that pupil master relationship to where Dumbledore's trying to teach him things, and Harry's starting to ask questions. And then that the scene at the end with the cave was just awesome. I thought even the movie did a great job in this part, where he's having him drink the potion, and the Dumbledore saying things. I mean, he's delirious, but he's saying things like, I'm sorry, it was my fault, take me instead, and stuff like that. And you find out later that he was talking to
About his
about his family, and yeah, when those Inferi pulled Harry in, and you just see like a ring of fire just circling. I
that
was like,
was
let's
great.
go!
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Dumbledore was bad. I mean,
Yeah.
you're right. He was. He was a great wizard.
Yes, and
Very
then they go back to the school, and it happens.
Yes.
We talked about this during our last podcast, but you said that Dumbledore dying was your most heartbreaking death. So just talk a little bit about that scene, and reading it for the first time. How'd you feel about it?
So let me give people a background who probably don't know. So in the beginning of the movie, Voldemort gives Draco Malfoy a task to
Yes.
do.
Well, he makes him a Death Eater, and then he gives them a task to do.
Yes. He gives him a task, and that task is two tasks. Find a way inside Hogwarts, because it's so heavily guarded. Dumbledore has it so heavily guarded. He wanted to find a way in. And then 2, when the time comes, to kill
Dumbledore.
Dumbledore.
Yep.
So
But he gives him this task because he knows he's going to fail. It's punishment because Lucius failed in book 5.
In book 5, right? From his task.
Yes, from his task. Yeah.
He got arrested. He got sent to Azkaban.
Yep.
And the family got shamed.
Yep.
Voldemort basically moved into their mansion, took over, gave Draco this task to do. Sissy and Narcissa go to Snape to get help because they still believe he's a double agent.
Yeah.
Which he is to some extent.
To an extent, yeah.
Yeah. So they make him do the unforgivable curse?
Unbreakable vow.
Unbreakable vow.
Yes.
Which basically means if Draco can't complete the task, then Snape would do it.
Yes.
If he doesn't, then Snape dies.
Right.
So,
but I mean, at that point, Snape and Dumbledore had already
worked out.
Yeah.
And Snape didn't want to do it, and Dumbledore said, "You know what? I'm almost dead anyway."
Yeah.
Because when I tried to see what this ring was about, it basically burned my hand. Backfired, burned my hand. It's all up my arm. He asked Snape how long he had to live.
He said less than a year.
Yeah, less than a year. So he knew he was going to die anyway. So he knew Snape also told him about the unbreakable vow.
Right.
And what Draco's task was. So Dumbledore knew what was going to happen. And he said, if it comes down to it, you have to do it.
Yeah.
And Snape was like, no. And he's like, Snape, you got to promise me you have to do it. I don't want Draco to die.
Yeah. It's Snape, like, just to kind of give context, he did not want to do this.
He didn't want to do it.
He was like, look, I've done everything for you. I've killed for you. I do not want to do this.
Right.
Like, I don't know if I can do this.
Right. He did not want to kill Dumbledore. But Dumbledore said, you have to do it. You got to promise me you're going to do it. You have to do it. So fast forward to the end when Draco disarms Voldemort's Dumbledore. Mm-hmm. And in exchange, not realizing it, he gets
the owner of the Elder Wand.
The Elder Wand, because Dumbledore was the owner of the Elder Wand at that time.
Right.
But nobody knew that but Dumbledore.
Right.
So he has Dumbledore's wand. He has it pointed at Dumbledore, but he can't do it. Draco cannot do it. So Snape walks in, and Harry gets all excited because he thinks, he's coming to save the day.
Right. And
Snape has to kill Dumbledore, and I didn't think he was going to do it. Mm-hmm. I thought there was going to be something else that happened. I was expecting something else to happen.
Yeah.
Even after I had read the book, because I read the book first and then watched the movie. So even when reading the book, I just knew that Snape wasn't going to do it, but he did, and it just broke me. I was like, oh man, he killed Dumbledore! He killed Dumbledore!
Yeah.
So that was sad.
Yeah. You know what's funny, Mom? I remember reading the book. Of course, after you, because like I say, you only bought one copy, and you didn't like to share. Anyway,
what do you mean? I was done with the book the next day.
No, I'm just playing. So yeah, I remember reading the book and reading it, just so invested. Like I said, this is my favorite book, so it's just I'm just turning pages, and eventually I get to that point in the book, and he says Avada Kedavra. And Dumbledore's lifeless body falls from the lightning struck tower, and I remember turning the page,
thinking it was something.
Yeah, I was like, hold on, is Dumbledore really dead? Like,
yes.
He's what? Like,
a lot of people had that reaction. Is Dumbledore really dead?
Yeah.
Is he coming back to life? They were
Yeah.
expecting the next book Dumbledore to be back alive, or he was going to come back to life.
Yeah.
I think it shocked a lot of people. It
That he
shocked
was really
a
dead?
lot of people that
Yeah.
he was really dead.
Yeah.
So because all I saw on the internet is Dumbledore really dead?
Right.
Is he dead? Is he going to come back in book 7?
Yeah.
It was shocking.
Yeah.
It was shocking
I'll say,
to a lot of people.
Yes, it was totally shocking, but it was still. It was a great scene. And shout out again to Alan Rickman because he played
it. He
that
did.
role, man.
He's a great
He was
actor,
awesome.
though.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
And I remember the hurt in his eyes in that scene, like because Snape and Dumbledore were the only two people that knew, like that really knew what was going on in that moment.
Right.
And yeah, he was just like, and Dumbledore even says like Severus please. You know, he pleads with him.
Yep.
Like, you have to do this. Like,
Yes.
even as he's dying.
And people thought the bad guys were thinking he's
This-
pleading for
yeah,
his
pleading for his life. Yeah.
But he was pleading for him to take his life.
Yes. Yeah.
So, but they didn't know that. They were
Yeah.
thinking, you know, Snape's got him now. He's pleading, was he begging Sirius?
Exactly.
Sirius not to,
Severus.
Severus not to kill him.
Yeah.
So, but it was, yeah.
J.K.
We saw
Rowling,
it.
you're just a genius. Oh my God. Okay, so yeah.
Make an animated series.
JK, don't you dare. Don't you dare agree to that. You know what? I want to bring something that just popped up to me. So I remember when these movies were coming out, and, you know, I'm a kid, Mom. You know, like, you know, I'm 10 or 11 when Harry's 10 or 11. So I'm thinking, all right, you know, I love Harry Potter. I want to be in a Harry Potter movie. Like, let's do this. Let's figure out how to make it happen, Mom. And you were like, Julian, you broke my heart. You were like, Julian, J.K. Rowling only allows British actors in her films. And I was like, what? Like,
Yep.
I was so heartbroken. Like,
Yep.
even to this day, I'm just like, what? But I want to be in a Harry Potter movie.
Yeah. There were
I-
a bunch of actors, U.S. actors, that wanted to be in the films, and she had to turn them down.
That's so crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's so crazy. I mean, I mean, I get it, kind of. No, I don't. I mean, okay. I understand because she wants it to be as authentic as possible. I'm hating because I'm not British.
Yeah.
And, you know, I could have been Dean or Seamus, whichever one it was. Like, that could have been me. But whatever.
I mean, right? It's not like U.S. students don't transfer to British schools.
Yeah.
So you could have had a U.S. actor in the movie at some point, but
It's all good. It's all good for now, I guess, JK. I still love you. You're still bae. Okay, so, oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I want to go back to Snape killing Dumbledore. So, at this point, I was like, I absolutely hated Snape. I thought that Snape was just the bane of my existence. I was like,
Everybody
I was like, how could you do
Everybody
this?
did. Yeah.
I was like,
I
how?
mean, everybody hated Snape.
Yeah, and then, you know, the scene after is Harry running after Snape, you know, trying his hardest to hunt him down
To track him down, yeah. And he kept
And Snape was just doing it so
defensive.
easily.
He
He was just like,
flicking him off.
yeah.
Get off me, fly. Get off me, fly. Yeah.
Just really, really great scene. Because, I mean, at that point, to me, Snape is a full-fledged bad guy. And he's showing how powerful he is. Because, like, you know, Harry, I mean, sure, Harry's only a 16-year-old wizard. But Harry's Harry. He's the main character. So I'm thinking that, you know, all right, Harry's going to get some justice. You know, Snape is just like, man, watch out. You know, get out of here. Yeah, you a fly, for real. But, yeah, great scene. Great scene.
Yep.
I really, really enjoyed that scene.
Yep.
So in this book and movie, we also learn about what Horcruxes are. Like, that's kind of like the central plot point to this movie. So when when you learned that Voldemort had split his soul into 7 pieces, what was your reaction to that? Because I was like, this guy is like, it's not fair. Like,
I actually was trying to visualize how you could possibly do that. You know, how could you split your soul into
7 pieces.
7 pieces?
Yeah.
But you know, as the movie developed, we learned how, and we learned what those Horcruxes were. But I think that was kind of a shock, because you were like, how did he do that?
Right.
Why would you want to do that?
Right.
So you would think, you know, if he wanted to live forever, he could have gotten some elixir from Nicholas Flamel or something, you know?
Well,
he lived to be, what, 600 years old?
yeah, but they talked about that. Now, I think Dumbledore was like, Voldemort would hate the idea of being dependent on it. So that's why he decided to do Horcruxes instead, because with that potion, you have to continuously drink it. And, you know, if somebody ever stole it or if somebody made it wrong, like, he was basically just like, Voldemort would never use that, because then he would be totally dependent on it, which made sense. So Horcruxes it is, right? You know, you got to be immortal, so
Yeah.
you got to kill somebody and steal their soul and put it in this thing so it can be your soul. Yeah, I was like, I remember reading it. I was just like, this dude, it's just not fair. Like,
Yeah.
you got to kill him 7 times to kill him. Like, what the heck?
But you know, that wasn't widely known either.
Oh yeah,
That he was using the Horcruxes to
nobody knew that.
split his soul. Yeah, so it wasn't, and because it wasn't something that anybody's ever done that many times before.
Yeah, I think
Or
they
if
said
ever.
the max was twice somebody had split their
Yeah,
soul.
so-
And he did it 7 times.
7 times.
Which is also part of the reason why he looks like he looks, because they explained in the book to where every time you split your soul, you become less human. So that's why he looks like snake-like with the nose and the red eyes. Like that's literally why he looks how he looks, because he split his soul so many times.
Right.
But yeah,
Not his old handsome self.
very handsome Tom Riddle. So yeah, I mean, at this point, there's 7 Horcruxes. I mean, there's the cup, there's the locket, there's Nagini, there's the diary, there's Harry himself, there's Ravenclaw's diadem, and then there's Marvolo Gaunt's ring. So I was. Huh?
Can we talk about what each of them
Represent.
how each of them, yeah.
And that's something they totally missed in the movie too,
Yeah, they
because
missed
in
that
the
in the
books
movie.
they gave each
They
one of
kinda
them a
glanced
story.
Over it. They kind of glanced over it in the movie. So the first one was what? The ring?
Yes. Well, I mean, if we're going chronologically, then the first one we ever saw was the diary, which
The diary,
which they
correct.
destroyed.
Yes, in book 2.
Yeah.
Chamber of Secret-
Yep.
Yeah. So
But then you're right, it'd be the ring or Nagini, I guess, if we're doing, and then Harry. But
well, we
whatever.
never really knew how old Nagini was and when she actually came into his life. But it's funny you should say that, because you know what Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah, the Crimes of Grindelwald. Yeah, that girl
Nagini was a human. She
Yeah.
was human at first, and then they said in there that as time goes on, she's going to turn into a snake and always be a snake.
right. Yeah, it's
So I'm
some
wondering
type
if that's
of.
the same Nagini.
It's some type of. It is. Yeah. J.K. Rowling confirmed that. Like it's some type of generational, some type of generational curse.
Yeah.
Or it's like a disease or something. They explained it to where, yeah, I mean, she can morph into it willingly right now, but eventually she's not going to be able to turn back.
Turn back human.
Yeah.
So
And yeah,
was-
that is the same Nagini that winds up with Voldemort. So, yeah,
okay. So the ring, they never really.
they completely missed it.
They completely missed that. All we knew was that Dumbledore had tried to destroy it,
Right.
and in doing so, he hurt himself, which would become fatal.
Yeah.
But the ring came from
Marvolo
the
Gaunt.
uncle.
His grandfather, Marvolo Gaunt.
Was it him or was? Oh yeah, because then he died, and then the uncle.
Then
had it.
Morphin got it.
So and the uncle was the uncle crazy or?
Yeah, he was just not domesticated essentially. He was just
Yeah.
like a savage.
Yeah. So he had the ring, and then Tom Riddle went in and stole the ring from him.
Right.
They didn't see. You didn't see all this in the movie. This was all in the book.
Right.
So Riddle, as a teenager, during his summer break,
Yep.
went to his
Just straight ran
mother's
up on him.
house and got past the wards to the house, went in there and stole the ring from the uncle.
Morphin Gaunt. Yeah.
And then he had the ring. How he knew to look for that ring or get that ring, I don't think was ever explained.
Not in the movie, no. Well, in
He
the
just thought
book,
it was a family heirloom
exactly.
and he wanted it.
Yeah.
So I think.
But that ring also had the resurrection stone on it,
Yeah, right.
which
But I don't think
he didn't know. Yeah,
that.
he didn't know that. Yeah.
He didn't know that. But that brings us to another point. So, was the ring from Salazar Slytherin, or just always part of his family?
Yeah,
his
that's a-
family heirlooms.
So the ring had the Peveril coat of arms on it, if you remember, which that's how Dumbledore knew that it was a Hallow. So I mean, I guessed it was passed down from generation to generation because I mean, Voldemort and Harry are directly descended from the Peveril brothers, but I don't know if they clearly explain. Maybe they do. But I mean, I know for a fact that the necklace was straightly descended from Salazar Slytherin.
Okay.
But the ring may be too. I just don't remember. But
Okay.
yeah, but yeah, I mean, yeah, like you said, like Voldemort straight ran up on his uncle and stunned him, took the ring, and he basically he didn't kill his uncle. He made his uncle go kill some other wizards or something in the town or something like that to get him arrested. But yeah, it was weird. Pretty much the same thing happened with the cup and the necklace because at this point Tom Riddle's working for Borgin and Burke and he's trying to persuade this rich lady with a house elf to show him her greatest treasures, and she was directly descended from was it Ravenclaw or Hufflepuff?
Hufflepuff.
Yeah, I think it was Hufflepuff. You're right. She was directly descended from Hufflepuff, so she had the chalice, which he turned into a Horcrux, and then she also had his mother's necklace, which he thought was rightfully his, which is why he did what he did and had the lady killed and took her to stuff. But yeah, I mean, I love this book because of stuff like this. Like it's just so much lore that I love. Like
some of the backstory is interesting.
Yeah.
They didn't show it, so
they didn't show it at all. What was the last one? The diadem of Ravenclaw. So this one they didn't really show until book 7.
right.
But still, I mean, it's interesting to see how Ravenclaw's daughter hid it in that forest in Romania, which is why in book 1 he was in Romania as like a little spirit because he was actually looking for it because he knew that was where a piece of his soul was. Just like great, like what the heck, like this is great full circle stuff that I just love.
Yeah.
But yeah,
They didn't delve into that either.
no, not at all. But yeah,
And
man.
then Harry was marked when Voldemort tried to kill him.
Yeah, on Harry's birthday.
And he
yeah.
didn't know, but Voldemort didn't know that he had a
did that.
7th Horcrux.
Right. Yeah.
He thought he only had 6. But yeah, he didn't know Harry was his 7th Horcrux. So.
Right. And you know what? At this point, neither did we, because we didn't find out that Harry was the 7th Horcrux until book 7.
You're right.
So I mean, at this point, there's only 6 Horcruxes. But yeah, I mean, So at the end of book 6, they had destroyed the diary and the ring.
Well, we didn't know about Nagini either.
Yeah. Dumbledore had marked them all at this point, like before he died.
Right.
He said, he said the cup, the locket, Nagini, and what was the other one? The diadem. Or he said something of Ravenclaws and something of Gryffindors, or I don't know. But and you know what? this is a huge missed opportunity just for Harry, because he had no idea how to get rid of these things, which they talk about a lot in book 7.
Yes.
And the Deathly Hallows, like he didn't know, like he
didn't
never
know.
thought to ask Dumbledore, but Dumbledore never thought to tell him, like to
Right.
tell him, like he destroyed the ring with the sword.
I don't think Dumbledore knew.
He did know, because that's how he destroyed the ring. He did it with the sword.
But the sword wouldn't have backfired and blackened. I don't think he did it with the sword.
No, he did. Well, okay, so he put the ring on because he knew that it was a hallow. Like he knew that it was a resurrection stone. So he was foolish. Dumbledore was foolish for once in his life because his one weakness is his family that he lost. So he put that ring on because he wanted to see them again, not knowing and not caring that there was going to be a curse attached to that. But he did eventually destroy the ring with the sword of Gryffindor because the sword had the basilisk venom on it. So I remember, I guess we can go ahead and talk about Deathly Hallows now, but I remember actually going with you to Walmart to get this book. I remember how big of a deal it was because this is it, this is the final, this is Avengers Endgame, this is the final book in this series. This is the culmination of everything. Like, this is what we've been waiting for. I remember it came out in it had to come out like 06 or 07, maybe 07. And we went to Walmart to get it. There was such a long line. And I remember, the main thing I remember is that once people were buying it, like they weren't going home. Like they were just like going to sit in like the clothes racks or on the benches, and they started reading the book. I was like, look, y'all got to get out of here. Like, y'all can't just do that. But yeah, this book was just amazing.
2007.
It came in 2007. Okay, yeah, this book is absolutely amazing. It was everything that I ever wanted in a Harry Potter book. It tied up everything so well, as finale should do. It left me no questions I didn't want for anything. I thought that this book was perfect.
Yep. Me too.
But
It sucked though, because they
'cause it was
split it
over?
in 2 movies.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm glad they did that because
Everybody
I
was
wanted them
like,
to put everything in
"Oh."
it. Yeah.
You didn't know where. Well, I think we knew they were going to split it into 2 books, 2 movies, but people were still like disappointed.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Because you had to wait another year
So
for the ending, just like Endgame.
I
You
mean,
had to wait a whole another year. For people who don't read and just look at the
Watch the movies.
Watch the movies. That was.
I mean,
I had already read it though, so I knew, but
I guess I don't know. I was more excited that they were going to get everything in the movie. To me, that's what was more important. So if it takes 2 movies to do that, then who cares? But I really don't remember that. Like I don't remember people.
oh yeah.
I don't remember that at all. But which one of the parts was like better to you, or I don't know. It's like a weird question. Like I'm kind of asking you, what do you think of the movies? I guess.
I liked it because was, like you said, it was a culmination of the whole series, and it answered a lot of questions from previous movies, and you got to see full circle.
Yeah.
You know, you get to see Snape explaining through his tears what really happened, and
Yep.
making Harry change his whole perception of him.
Right.
You know, he was actually a good guy.
Yeah, which is just fantastic storytelling, by the way, J.K. Rowling. You're just
Yeah.
you're just amazing, and I know you're listening right now. So you're just amazing. Thank you for this.
Yeah. So I think that was good, and I think just everything. You know, Dobby dying was
So sad.
It was sad.
So sad.
It was really sad. It was really sad.
He got stabbed. He was like, Harry Potter. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
not Dobby.
Yeah. And then Hermione trying to drink in the potion again to turn into Bellatrix to go to the bank
Oh, yeah.
to get the cup.
Yeah.
And then the dragon scene. I thought that was great. They freed the dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Just a lot of things in this book. I think the filler part for me would have been them going across country and
Yeah.
doing the different things. You know, that was waiting it out, listening on the radio to see who had died or whatever, and
Yeah.
listening for news
I mean,
of
but
family.
all that was in the book, but I agree that
Yeah.
that part could have been sped up maybe.
Yeah.
But, you know, it is what it is because, I mean, I guess it showed them for the first time not going to Hogwarts.
They
you know,
didn't go to
they're
Hogwarts
they're
at
they're out
all
there on the
until
run.
end. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I get it, but I
Yeah.
can definitely see where you're coming from. It's like, do we need to see
Yeah,
them
we
struggling like
needed
this?
so much, you know. It was just so much. I think Harry seeing the Patronus of Snape's deer. That was Snape's.
Oh, yeah, the
deer.
doe.
The doe.
Mm-hmm.
When he went to get the sword of Gryffindor.
Right.
I think that was good. And then obviously at the end when everybody was there, they were ready to fight, you know, from his classes. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it was great. It was a great fight scene. It was sad to see so many people die. Like I always forget, is it Fred or George that died?
I think George died. No. George got his ear cursed
George
off,
got his
so
head.
Fred
it was the other
died.
one that died.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and then the fight
Spoilers.
with yes, well, the fight with
Bellatrix.
Jenny's mama and Bellatrix
Yeah.
at the end. She's
Yeah.
like, "Not my daughter, you bitch."
I remember the whole theater was so lit.
Yes,
They was lit for
we
that
were
moment.
Like, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
Bellatrix got her comeuppance. That was great. That was a great scene. And just everything. And then when I think one of my other favorite parts was when before the fight, and McGonagall did her curse. And
Oh, yeah.
she did her curse, and she basically called all the stone statues down.
yeah.
Defend your school. Hogwarts is threatened.
Right.
That was great. So when they came down, and,
She was like, I've always wanted to do that
Yeah,
spell.
yeah, it was great. So
Didn't you say Professor McGonagall is your favorite character?
she is. A lot of people underestimate her, but and she didn't really get a chance to shine as much as Dumbledore did.
Sure.
But she was great. She did her transfiguration. She's a transfiguration teacher. Did her spells, and she didn't take no shit.
No.
She wasn't having it. So she was good. She was
It's so funny.
low key.
Yeah.
And she did what she was supposed to do. You know, when she fought Sirius at the end, not Sirius, Severus.
Oh,
Snape
yeah.
At the end to get rid of him, and she disarmed him, and he
ran out.
He ran out, and everybody was cheering, yay!
Yeah.
You know, so that was great.
But I mean, again, you know, Snape is a good guy the whole time, so
Yeah.
he doesn't
He
want to
wasn't
fight
gonna fight
McGonagall.
her.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
you
doesn't
know,
wanna fight her.
he
Yeah.
loves her.
Yeah,
like
he
you know,
does.
he like as soon as he saw that it was her, he was like, "Damn."
And did you see the spell? And you can actually watch it. He basically, you know, he had the two
The
teachers
guard.
behind
yeah.
him.
Yeah,
He
he
basically
deflected
knocked
it.
him
yeah.
out.
Yeah, he deflected it into them on purpose.
Yes,
yeah.
he did it on purpose and knocked them out.
Yep.
So that was funny.
Yeah.
I had to rewind that. I was like, yeah, he did do that. He knocked them out.
Yeah.
So
Snape, you're awesome. Yeah. Oh yeah, McGonagall. She was great, and I totally agree with you. The scene with Molly Weasley and Bellatrix was just. It was everything.
That was great.
You know, I remember reading that in the book, and I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
We're like, "Oh, let's go! Like, let's
My
go!"
daughter, you bitch.
And yeah, they did it perfectly in the movie. It was perfect execution, perfect time for it. It was just, it was really great. But yeah, I agree with you, Mom. There were a lot of deaths. I don't know if all of them were absolutely necessary, but you
Like
know,
one of the Pavarti twins died.
Remus and Tonks had to die.
Had to die,
Just like, dang,
yep.
you know, Hedwig had to die. Come on,
Hedwig had
like
to die.
JK, you getting ruthless out here. Like
The girl who was kissing all on
Ramilda
Ron,
Vane.
Yeah, she died.
She died. She died bad too. She was getting eaten by a grayback
Yeah,
werewolf.
yeah,
It was like, ugh.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah, it was a lot
And
of
then Neville-
carnage.
Neville got the sword and chopped off Nagini's head. That
Yeah,
was a great.
that was
scene
awesome.
Too.
Yeah, that was
That
awesome.
was a great scene.
That was awesome. I actually have this other girl who I did a podcast with. She's like a Neville lover. Like, you know, Neville's her guy, and she
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
was like, that scene was like everything.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It
it was
was.
cool. It was cool.
He
It was good.
Very courageous. That
Yeah,
was very
I mean that's why he belonged in Gryffindor. I mean, but
Yep.
we found out even in book one when you know when them three were trying to leave and he
And
was like
stood up to
he was
him,
like
he's
I'll
like,
fight
"No,
you.
yeah, I'll fight you. You're gonna get us in trouble."
Yeah, you're gonna make us lose points. Like, come on,
Yeah.
Neville. Like the fate of the world is at stake.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
like, no, I'm not losing points. But yeah, Neville, you're great, man. He had a really interesting story too, which
He did.
didn't get told a lot in the
Didn't get
movies.
told- nope.
But you know, his parents were tortured
By Bellatrix.
Yeah, by Bellatrix. You know, and you got to see that in 5. Him visiting his parents and
Yep.
the relationship he has with his parents and even his grandmother. Like Neville's story is really interesting. So I mean, I'm
That was
glad
all
that he
in the
got his
book.
moment. Yeah, in the book. Yeah, in
They
the books.
didn't
Yeah,
put that in the movie, but yeah.
yeah. Great stuff. Great stuff.
Yep. It was good.
So
You also saw. Oh, I'm backtracking.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say we also saw the teacher who the
oh, Gilderoy Lockhart. Yeah.
in the hospital. So
Yeah.
we still didn't know who he was.
Yeah. One of the things about this book, you know, obviously is the Deathly Hallows. I mean, that's what the book's called. And you know, in this book, we got the explanation of the tale of the 3 brothers,
Yes.
which, you know, again, this is lore. This is stuff that I love. But like, this is the beginning of wizardry, and I was like, this is amazing. Like, first of all, J.K. Rowling, again, like, how dare you think of something so great and iconic of, you know, these 3 wizards who were trained in the mystic arts need to get across a bridge, and down comes death, and death is just like, hey, you guys are supposed to die here. How'd you do that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, just a great story. It was great to see how the Elder Wand got fashioned from an elder tree, how, you know, the Resurrection Stone was just a stone from the lake, and how the invisibility cloak was attached to
Piece-
Death's
it was
cloak
piece of
himself.
his cloak,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's just great stuff, and I loved it. You know, it introduced you to one of the 3 brothers, which is the Peveril brothers, and
Yep.
just all this iconic stuff. But what was your reaction to finding out the tale of the 3 brothers and where all this cool stuff came from?
It was very interesting. I think they did do this right.
Definitely,
the
yeah.
book versus the movie. You know, they told
Yeah,
the tale.
the little animation thing was really cool. What
It
they
was
did.
really cool.
Yeah.
Really cool how they showed, you know, how each brother, you know, what they wanted and what happened to them, and how transcended through time, how all 3 of those Deathly Hallows still exist.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Dumbledore had the Elder Wand
Yep.
at the time. He also had the ring,
Mm-hmm.
the little thing in the ring, which he put in the
And the snitch.
snitch, and gave to Harry when he died,
Mm-hmm.
as a bequest. And
Harry always had the cloak.
he always had the Well, Dumbledore had the cloak, so Dumbledore at one
Yeah.
time had all 3,
Yeah.
and then the cloak was actually from Harry's dad,
Right.
James Potter, and so he gave it to Harry in book 2.
One.
One.
We gave him the one as a Christmas present.
Yeah, Christmas present. So gave him the invisibility cloak, although I don't think Harry ever knew who gave that to him.
Yeah.
So, and then fast forward to book 7, you know, Harry learned that he had all 3
Yeah.
of the Deathly Hallows, and he knew it was such a huge responsibility, especially with that Elder Wand, because even back in the day, people
Kill her for that.
killing for that wand.
Yeah, I mean the first brother got his throat cut in his sleep for it. So
exactly.
yeah,
So
I mean, yeah,
he just didn't. I think he just didn't want that responsibility. He didn't, even though the only people that knew he had it were Hermione, and Ron.
Right.
At the time. So
right.
The
And-
ring looks like he dropped in the forest somewhere. I hoped he picked it up and put it in his pocket. But
You
even
mean
though
the
he never
stone?
used it, the stone.
Yeah. No, I
I
think
don't know. They didn't gloss over that part, and I don't remember from the book what actually happened to the resurrection.
Well,
stone.
he did that on purpose so nobody would ever try to find it.
So that's a good place for it.
Yeah, you know, ain't nobody
It's
going to
in the
look in the dark forest
forest. Yeah,
for
they're gonna be looking for
you know
it.
for the resurrection stone.
Yeah.
But
So,
yeah, I mean,
cloak, I think he kept.
He
kept
did.
the cloak.
he did.
So
I mean, in the Elder Wand, which this is something that I absolutely hated, but in the movie, he snaps the Elder Wand in half and just throws it across. Like I was like, what?
yeah, he throws it off the tower.
I was like, what? Whoa, back up.
even Ron and Hermione were had their mouth open
Yeah.
like, well, you didn't just do that.
Yeah, because I mean, in the book, he uses the Elder Wand to repair his wand because earlier in Book 7, his wand that he's had his entire life gets destroyed when he's in Godric's Hollow. But so he uses the Elder Wand to repair his wand, which isn't brand new again, and then he puts the Elder Wand, like the actual wand itself, back with Dumbledore. And like I thought that was just great. Like I loved it in the book, and then in the movie, I see him break it, and I'm just like, all right, man,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
But whatever. So one final thing about Deathly Hallows, and then we can move on. But the battle between Harry and Voldemort, you know, this is literally, you know, Luke Skywalker versus Darth Vader. Like
Yeah.
this is good and evil coming together. In the book, it was a little lackluster to me, like just how it was so easy. Even though, like, I mean, I understood that Harry had the Elder Wand. Voldemort thought he did, but Harry really did. He was trying to tell him that. He was like, look, like, we don't have to do this anymore, Tom. Like, I have the Elder Wand. You know, like, let's think of another way. And of course, Voldemort's just like, Avada Kedavra.
I took it from Dumbledore.
Yeah.
I
am the master of the Elder Wand.
Yeah.
But even, you know, I say that to say in the movie, they added some things in the movie that I was just like, what's happening? Like they were almost like fist fighting in the movie, if you remember. Like they were like real close, and Voldemort like backhands them, and they flying off, and I was like, okay, maybe I prefer the book, but I don't know. What did you think about the ending? Like, did you want it to be more grand? I guess.
No, I think it was fine. I think in the book you just couldn't visualize
Maybe so.
you couldn't visualize the fight and everything that was going on, and the movie made that enhance the visualization. You could actually see what was happening, and you know, the words actually matched what was happening. But I think a lot of people, and maybe I don't know, maybe it's just me, were kind of confused at the end when Harry said, you know, basically Harry had the allegiance of the Elder Wand. And Voldemort thought just because he took the wand from Dumbledore that the allegiance, that he didn't know about the allegiance, I think.
Like
Or maybe
you
he
have
did
to win
because
it. That's why he killed Snape.
That's why he killed Snape, because he thought the allegiance had snapped to Snape. but
Because
it
Snape
didn't.
killed Dumbledore.
Right.
Yeah.
But it didn't, because Malfoy
Disarmed Dumbledore.
disarmed Dumbledore, so the allegiance was in Malfoy's wand,
Right.
but he didn't know that.
Right.
So, and Harry disarmed
Malfoy.
Malfoy at his house.
Yep.
And got the wand back. So, the allegiance was with that wand, stayed with Harry. But I think a lot of people might have been confused about the whole allegiance piece of it, because they didn't talk about that till the end.
Right.
So I think that was the only confusing part. But as far as the fight scene, I think it ended just how it was supposed to end.
Yeah.
You know, I think Voldemort was surprised.
Yeah.
Which he saw his wand he saw Dumbledore's wand cracking, which is a beautiful wand, by the way.
It is really beautiful.
And it started cracking, and he realized, I'm getting beaten here.
He realized he's dying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I guess. You know, and another thing they changed in the movie, Voldemort like disappears as he's dying. Like, I mean, it's just a, you know,
He
his
disintegrated.
Yeah, like that's
Yeah.
kind of weird. I mean, he should have just died and just fell back and died. But whatever,
Well,
you know,
he was
whatever.
a soul, right? So I'm trying to think. So Nagini basically did the same thing.
Yeah.
Her head chopped off. She disappeared.
True, very true. Which is weird too, but you know, whatever. Maybe it's just the way they wanted to, so we could, you know, it's really over
But
type
Harry
thing.
didn't do that.
No.
When Voldemort killed Harry, and he was at the train station, his body was still there, or unless his body reappeared. I don't think so. I think it was still laying on the ground because he had Narcissa go and check to make sure that he was dead.
Right.
But he didn't disintegrate or
Yeah.
anything. So I don't know.
Yeah. Who knows?
It's
Who knows?
kinda It's kind of weird, but
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah. Definitely agree. But yeah, this was it was really great. I love this movie. I'm sorry, I love the book. Books, you know, 3, 6, and 7 are just my favorite books by far. But the movie was really good too. To me, it was satisfying. As far as like how they ended it, I thought that it was great. But yeah,
I thought it wasn't long enough.
really,
I
they
think,
did 2 movies.
I know, but I think at the end they showed Harry and
The
Ginny
epilogue.
together
Yeah.
and things like that. I would have liked to see a little bit more, but hey,
That's why she wrote Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. But yeah.
that was kind of. Let's not talk about that.
Okay, so now that we've discussed, the last 3 books in depth, I kind of want to go over some fan theories and some, questions and topics. This is just some stuff I found on the internet, but I thought it was interesting because some of these fan theories are like, whoa, and some of them are just terrible. But so the first one I want to run by you is that the story of the 3 brothers is, Harry, Voldemort, and Snape. They're like the 3 brothers. Have you heard this fan theory before?
No.
Okay, so obviously Harry fits as the 3rd brother, whereas he's directly descended from Peverils. He has the invisibility cloak, and like his personality type fits the 3rd brother more. Snape would be the 2nd brother who uses the Resurrection Stone, where all he wants back is somebody that he can't have, Lily Potter.
Lily.
And obviously the 1st brother would be Voldemort, who just wants power and the Elder Wand. And the thing that made me think about that was like, okay, that's really interesting, but then they said that Dumbledore is Death. Death was the one that greeted the 3rd brother as an old friend in the afterlife, which is what he did to Harry. But no, you don't like that fan theory?
I don't like that. No.
Yeah, it's one of those fan theories that kind of got me thinking. Like,
I can see the correlation.
right, exactly.
But
Yeah.
not Dumbledore as Death. I can see Voldemort, Snape, and Harry as the 3 brothers, but I can't see Dumbledore as Death.
It makes sense, kind of, just because of that one line in the book where they're talking about greeting him, and that's exactly what Dumbledore did when Harry died. Like, he greeted him as an old friend in the train station, and But I mean, it is what it is. It's just a fan theory. But I thought that it was interesting. I was like, wow.
I see the correlation, but I don't think that's true.
Okay.
I don't think that's how it was meant to be.
Yeah. So another one is J.K. Rowling is actually Rita Skeeter. So this fan theory states that just listen. So this fan theory states that Rita Skeeter is an accomplished writer who who got shunned from the Muggle world because she told all these stories about wizards and magic and all that. So, and that's where she gets the inspiration from all this from. It's really stupid, but again, I was just like, how do people think of this stuff? Like J.K. Rowling and Rita Skeeter. Next. Okay. So this one is really good. This one may even be true. And it's about Crookshanks. Have you heard this fan theory? Mm-mm. So this fan theory states that Crookshanks was the Potter's cat. So if you remember in book 5 or 6, when Harry is going through Sirius's parents' house, he finds like this half-torn copy of a letter that Lily had wrote to Sirius about when Harry was born. She wrote it saying something along the lines of, hey Sirius, everybody's doing well. Harry has a new broomstick. His birthday's coming up. He's about to be 1 year old. Hope you can make it. He almost killed our cat on his little broomstick. So there was mention of them having a cat then. And then obviously, when they died, who knows what happened to their cat. But Hermione, 13 years later, when she gets Crookshanks, she says that Crookshanks was there for ages and that nobody ever wanted her. And she was obviously in a pet shop, so that led people to believe that Crookshanks was the Potter's cat.
It's a possibility. I don't know where they would go with that story, but
Well, I think it's one of those little tea leaf things, like just a cool
I don't
little.
think you hear from Crookshanks again after book
Like five or six, yeah.
I don't think Crookshanks is even mentioned
Yeah.
ever again.
Yeah, like I said, it's just one of those little tea leaves that kind of connect the story. And also in book 3, Crookshanks was the only one that knew Sirius's true form as a dog, and she knew that Pettigrew was a rat. So like that kind of correlates to it too, because if she was there back then obviously she knew their animagus forms. But yeah, I think this is just people just smoking a big bag of weed and they're just like loving Harry Potter.
Yeah.
But some of them are interesting.
You're right. They're smoking a big bag of weed.
So this one could possibly be true too. This fan theory states that Hagrid got Aragog from Newt Scamander. So obviously Newt is like a purveyor of magical beasts, and Hagrid mentions that he got Aragog from a traveler's pocket when Aragog was just a baby. Newt has a whole bunch of dangerous animals and magical beasts, so it's very possible that this one is true. But what do you think about that one?
I don't think that's true either.
Mom, you don't seem to be into these fan theories. All right, this one I know you're going to like. This one is about the Dursleys. This fan theory states that the Dursleys were so horrible to Harry because they were influenced by the Horcrux, which is Harry himself. That one's interesting. Come on now.
How would that influence them?
Well,
Harry
if you
Potter?
remember in books 6 and 7 when they were wearing the Horcrux, it was influencing their moods just from being around it and just from touching it. So they were around Harry the first 11 years of his life.
Yeah, but they never were around Harry that close.
Sure they were. They lived with him. They shared a
lived
space with him.
But they were never around Harry, touching his skin around him that close. That's BS too. No.
All right. Okay.
No, because if that's the case, then Ron and Hermione and everybody at the school would be affected too. So I don't think that's
true.
I don't
Very
think
true.
that's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm just going to call you the exposer of these fan theories now. All right. So then, okay, but this one just popped into my head. What about Aunt Petunia being a witch?
Well, obviously, she probably has a gene or two, but if she did, she always thought it was
Unnatural, and she just
unnatural,
didn't expose
she
that side of
just
herself?
didn't.
I think that
Didn't
fan
expose it.
theory holds a little weight because she always saw them two, Snape and Lily, playing, and
Mm-hmm.
Even though she hated it because but then again, it makes me think because she hated it because she couldn't do it because she wasn't
Oh,
like
she was
them.
absolutely jealous.
Yeah,
She was absolutely jealous, but
maybe she was a squib or something.
maybe.
Yeah.
I don't think she thought it was unnatural, and even if she did influence anything or had a little witchcraft, she wouldn't have
done it.
She was just too
Preppy.
she was too weird.
Okay. Whatever. All right. So just a few quick follow-ups. So Severus Snape is obviously a huge central figure in the Harry Potter series. Some people think that, obviously he's the ultimate good guy. Some people think that he's the hero of the story. What do you say to that?
I don't know about hero, but he's obviously a huge figure in the movie. He played that role. That was just, I always liked when he came up behind them. I think it was Chamber of Secrets, and they were talking about him, and he didn't know it at the time. And he turned around, and his cloak was black cloak just billowing behind him. It was just, and the times when he'd hit them upside the head when they were talking in his class, and he hit one of them with a book. I think Ron.
Both of them, yeah.
Yeah. So I think he was mean spirited, but I don't think he was evil.
Right.
So I think he was just a boy that was always picked on.
Yeah.
And he had that ability to be evil if he wanted to, And
Sure.
I think that's why he got put into
Slytherin.
Slytherin. But he also had the ability to be good, like we knew he was at the end, or he always was.
Mm-hmm.
So,
What
but
about
as far as he was a major character, but I don't think he was the most important character.
really? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, I get it. And, you know, like I said, like, obviously this is Harry's story. I mean, there's a prophecy about Harry Potter, not Severus Snape.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Like, to me, Snape's direct involvement in Harry's life means so much that, you know, if Snape wasn't there, then, like, none of this would have happened to Harry. Because, I mean, Voldemort might have chosen Neville. And, you know, maybe Neville Longbottom in the Chamber of Secrets or whatever. But whatever. That's just, you know, speculation. But what about Peter Pettigrew? I mean, you know, if you remember, you know, he was obviously a close friend of, you know, James and Sirius and Lupin. But, you know, towards the end of his life, he had the chance to subdue or kill Harry, and he didn't. And, you know, Voldemort had made him a little makeshift hand in book 4, and, you know, it killed him. But did you think Peter Pettigrew redeemed himself at all at the end?
No, because he had Harry's parents killed.
But, I mean, he basically let Harry go.
No,
You know, no, that's not enough for you.
not enough.
He had to die. Dang. Okay. All right, Mom, you're hardcore. Okay. If you could bring back one character, who would it be?
Dumbledore.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
See how quick I said that?
Yeah, I'm gonna say why though. Like,
Because I wanted Harry to have an adult in his life that cared.
well, I'm not
And
serious then.
I think
Just because
Dumbledore
Dumbledore's a
can
better
give him
wizard.
more.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, you're probably right. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would definitely want either Sirius or Dobby or Hedwig. At least Hedwig, you know, his pet owl. I don't know, but it probably wouldn't be Dumbledore. I mean, Dumbledore is 300 years old or however old he is. He had a full life, okay? Let somebody else get a chance. Like, I would want Sirius to come back. I love Sirius. And I guess
Sirius is a good choice too, but I just think Dumbledore would provide him more guidance because he's still young. You know, he never really. We knew at the end that he turned out to be an aura.
Harry.
Harry turned out to be an aura.
Right.
I forget what Ron did. Hermione would work.
Ron was
in
like a stay-at-home dad, and Hermione was a Ministry of Magic.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. So, you know, I just think he would have profited from that guidance from Dumbledore. I mean, if you asked Harry who would he rather have, of course he's going to say Sirius,
Right.
because you know
It's a father figure for him,
he's a father figure for him. But so is Dumbledore.
I guess. But Sirius for life. Okay, so and I guess this is kind of a pointless question for you, but who's your favorite Hogwarts teacher?
McGonagall.
Yeah, I was about to say it had to be McGonagall. I liked Lupin, even though he only taught 1 year. I thought Professor Sprout was cool, but I didn't like her biology. I was just like, I don't care about these plants. Like I'm like Harry. Like I'm not Neville. Okay, I love these plants. Last question: was the ending satisfying for you? Like, were you satisfied that, you know, Harry gets to go with Voldemort and, you know, he lives happily ever after? Or were you looking for some convoluted ending?
Nope, I liked it. Loved the ending. Like I said, it tied everything together very nicely. I really had no questions. I just wished it was. I wish it was longer. Of course, I want to see about the kids, and I wish they showed how, you know, when they were pregnant and the baby's coming and stuff like that. But that's just the mom in me. But no, I liked the ending. It ended the way it should have. So, in my mind,
I agree.
a happy ending is always good. You're sorry
Mm-hmm.
for the people that lost, but in the end, you won the war. And you know,
Hear that, Game of Thrones? Okay. All right, Mom, I'm going to end it here. Thank you so much for coming on the pod. You are always welcome. And I love
you
talking
for
about Harry
having me.
Potter with you.
thank you for having me.
Alrighty. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of the Current Era Podcast. Me and my mom are obviously some huge Harry Potter fans, so thank you for listening to us talk about something that we love. If anyone wants to be on a future Harry Potter episode, please let me know. Shoot me a DM at the Current Era Podcast, and I'll be happy to do a Harry Potter episode with you. I am a Potterhead, Ravenclaw for life. But yeah, thank you so much, guys, and I will see you next time.